Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you for joining us on Friday night where we have a special time for you guys here. Guys, every time the babes or just some of these authors get together, it's always something unique. But this time it is really unique. So I hope you guys are going to enjoy this show. But thank you for coming. And if you are new here, thank you for showing up. If you've been here before, welcome back. You're at the book bar, and we love having you guys here. So make sure you tag a friend, like, and subscribe so you don't miss any other shows that we have. All right, guys. So let me just do real quick here because this really could be long, but we're not going to do anything real long. So here is what I'm going to do: a quick introduction of everybody. And if you have been around the book world, you know all of these ladies here in here. So we're going to do a quick little run by, and then we're going to dive right into what the hell happened with this. What are we talking about? What is a modern day fairy tale? Okay. So we're going to start right up at the top. We got Cassie in the room. Cassie, go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody.
Hello, I am Cassie Verano. I write interracial romance. Yeah, that's me.
Okay. She does more than just that, you guys. So you need to check her out. And before we get off of here, we'll show you how to follow her, and then you can take a look at her catalog, and you'll find something you like.
I will say, I'm so sorry, I drew a blank. I wasn't expecting you to call me first, but I am the other half of the podcast with Ty, Cozy Sips with Kat, and I write interracial romance. I've got roughly 50 something titles out there now.
Oh,
wow. USA Today bestselling author, and I love kink with BDSM.
Yeah, we can tell. Okay, we got Kimmy Farrell up next. Kimmy?
Hi, I am Kimmy. I like to write contemporary, sensual, emotional romance, some paranormal, maybe a little erotica. And I am the author of Ash's Tale. And yeah, hi.
All right. We have Sherelle. Cheryl Lister, I'm sorry, in the room. Cheryl, introduce yourself.
I am Cheryl Lister. I write contemporary romance, romantic suspense, women's fiction.
Okay. All right. Miss L.
Hi, I am Elle Wright. I write edgy contemporary romance and raunchy rom-coms.
I'm loving all of these descriptions. And then next up, we have Ty.
Yes, I'm author of contemporary romance and new adult romance.
Okay,
and
all
also
right.
the other half of Cozy Sips with Kat.
All right. And then last but certainly not least, we have Sherelle Green.
Hey, so I write Black dark romance. I also write contemporary romance. Funny sometimes, but they do some unaliving. But I make it fun.
I love to do unalive.
Unaliving.
That's the term everywhere now.
Right. Like it makes it any less horrible, right?
Yes.
Well, it gets us, censored if we use directly.
I guess.
I have been censored several times on my own page. So yeah.
Oh wow. Well, I can see that with you. I am Midnight Ace, and I'm your host here today. So let's just dive in, okay? So you guys, I always have to ask this. I want to know who it is that came up with this. And then, I always get these looks from everybody. So come on, just spill the beans. Who came up with this, and what was the inspiration to do this?
Well, this was last year, so it's been a while that we came up with this, but I don't remember exactly how it happened, but
I can say it wasn't me this time.
I think we were
Oh,
talking about writing like a fairy tale, trying to do it. I don't know how we got on the discussion.
yeah, we talked about it before. We talked about
Yeah,
it a few times that we
yeah.
wanted to do a bay that was surrounding fairy tales, but then with the reimagined part, not just a regular retelling, but we wanted to put like the male and the female role of the fairy tale. So it was
I
a different spin to it, which is why we called it Reimagine. And we hadn't seen a lot of people calling it Reimagine. We saw a lot of retellings, but we're like, okay, so we're gonna make it a little different.
Yeah, and that was one of the things too, because I had to catch myself a couple of times in calling it a retelling, but it's not a retelling of the story. It truly is a reimagine because normally in our classics they have the female is the one that's really the highlight of the fairy tale, and the male has a point too, but it's not as significant as it is with the female. So I noticed that all of you titles, they have the male is the highlight of these here, and so we're going to talk a little bit about that too, as to why and how you all made that work. But we have I want to talk with Cheryl too, because she's gonna have to drop off. But Cheryl, so you have let me see, your person's name is Milo's
Milo.
Tale.
Right.
Okay, and so just a quick thing. Milo is the male, and his last name is Bennett.
Right.
So you're kind of recycling some of your characters, and usually I always ask this: uh, is this mean something else is going to come after this too? So tell us a little bit about Milo and why you
Ah,
chose.
Milo, I guess he would be these days be what they would call like a cinnamon roll hero of sorts. So he's not the alpha on the surface, put it that way. He's
Mhm.
nerdy, loves his chemistry, sits in there, but he does have a couple of hidden talents that, not even his family knows about. So he's that kind of thing. And he's shy. He's not your in your face, take over kind of guy. So he's just a little bit different. And then the Bennetts, if you've read, our 420 Bay, you know that Alonzo Bennett was the hero in that story, and he is a cousin of them. So, and so
Okay.
you do get to see a familiar little face in there from that story.
Okay. So tell us about your fairy tale that you were reimaging, and
I,
and then just tell me what ingredients you had to put in there to make us know that it was that particular fairy tale.
okay, so I chose Mulan because that's probably one of my favorites of the Disney movies because she's a kick butt heroine. That's just short and to the point. And so I figured if I had this guy who was quiet, who didn't fit in really, which is she didn't fit in, but she had this natural skill and she loved family. She
Okay.
wanted to protect her family. And so those are the elements. He wants to protect his family. And what does she do? She goes undercover. She does an entire makeover. And he does the same thing
Hmm.
to for that reason.
Okay. Okay. So if your hero had a favorite drink, what would it be?
Ooh.
that's a good question.
It is a good question. I might
Think
go
about it,
with
'cause I'm coming to y'all next with the
So
I
second.
let me
know,
start
like you
thinking.
should have gave me a
Yeah.
warning, girl. I had to think on
Because
this.
I needed for you to you have your say.
I know. Okay, so I'm gonna go with maybe a rum punch from the standpoint of it's sweet, it's nice, but it sneaks up on you real quick before you know it. Yeah.
Like in a scene that had happened with him. Okay.
Well, yeah, that part.
All right, now, so for the modern day, the modern day, in your fairy tale, what do you think? Which character, the classic or the modern day character, in the modern day world, which one do you think could adapt better?
Okay, wait.
Milan or Milo?
Who could adapt better in the modern times?
The modern time.
I think they both could do it. I think they both could do it.
Okay.
Because she was no problem with adapting. Mulan had no problem with adapting to what she needed to do to keep her family's legacy straight.
Okay. Okay.
And we see that Milo did the same thing. He was, even though, his brothers didn't think he could pull this off and literally laughed at him and, kind of thing. So
I love the connection with him and his brothers. That was absolutely one of my favorite things in the book. And guys, and I'm doing things a little bit different here. So just I'm gonna get to all the rest of everybody else's, I promise. But I just wanted you guys to hear Cheryl's portion of hers before she has to pop off. So
I'm sorry, y'all, I got a date.
Yeah, and we love that about that. And I told you I was just going to ask you a couple of quick questions. So, and I know you have to hop off. So before you do, if you just want to tell everybody how to stay connected with you for this book and all the rest. I will be putting a link in the book for all of the Babe Reimagined, so you guys can pick them up. They're quick books. You can just, it really is a weekend read for all of them. But they are really cute, and I think you will like them. So tell us how to stay connected with you.
You can find me. My website is www.cheryllister.com. Or you can find me on Facebook at author Cheryl Lister, on Instagram and Threads as at Cheryl Lister. And if y'all have read these books, please y'all go out there and review these books, because it seems that Amazon is holding our reviews hostage. So if you have, please review them. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah, I have to say my experience with posting my reviews is a lot better for right now. So I'm gonna try to pop them in, because they're posting them like right away. I don't usually get that. It usually take about 2 days. So anyway, so thank you for popping on. Love your story.
I love y'all.
What before you go, what's next for you?
Oh, what's next for me? Right now, I'm sitting here. Listen, my plan was to finish My Little Sassy Sisters before the end of this year, but then I just got edits back for this next women fiction, and that's all I'm gonna say about those. But anywho, yeah. So I'm gonna have to.
Well, we're here for you.
So the first thing on the agenda is, once I get these done, is to try to get those Sassy Sisters done, because I am like more than halfway done with Valina's book, and ready to get started with Donna's next. So I got to get those ladies done, and then I can start my next little series that I really want to get done. Okay. I'm not gonna tell y'all about that yet. I'm gonna keep that to myself for a minute.
Yeah, I think I know a little bit why you would do that, but that's okay. Well, thank you again for spending a little bit of time with us on this, and have a great night, evening. Right. Thank you, Lance, for sharing. A good one.
Bye, y'all. All
right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, so she got an easy pass, but now I'm going to deep dive into some other ones, so y'all going to have it a little bit harder. Okay, can any one of you all can answer this. What was the conversation like when you guys decided to do this?
Is Midnight on mute?
Nope.
Can
you hear me?
Can you hear any of us?
I can't hear her.
I can't hear us.
Can you hear us?
I can't hear Midnight.
Just Midnight?
We'll repeat it.
Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I was asking the question of like, okay, so
uh-oh. Do you want to come back?
Maybe we could translate for you.
Yeah, we'll translate.
Hold on. Let me get out and come back in.
Okay, maybe that. But okay, so you guys decided to do this, right? So what was the conversation like? And then what was it like? Who were you going to bring in? Who did you think was a good fit? And, all of that. What was all of the planning like for this?
Of course, she chooses now to have to get we all were taught. This was a discussion last year. I mean, over a year and a half ago at this point. because we all did this prolific works program thing. So we all had to do books for that. And so we offered them free for that. So for that particular portion, I think for the continuity element, we didn't connect the stories as much. So it's just we all did the fairy tale reimagines, but you didn't have any central connections like as we did for what we just released. So for example, for the new and updated ones, not only do they have new content, and I think everybody added at least over 10,000 more words, but it also has a shared like Halloween parties that are in each
Yeah.
particular
Yeah.
story. So it's like it's a shared world in that sense, even though all the stories are different. If
And
Okay.
I want to say I was excited, but every fairy tale I wanted, y'all already had. So just want to throw that out there.
Yes. Okay.
sorry
So
about
I picked it up from there. So that's a question too. Like, okay, so what did you guys now was the fairy tale what you all had in the workshop that you had, or was it just something else different?
no, we all had the same fairy tales, but what time means is when it was time to pick the fairy tale,
Yeah.
we were all in the same document. It was like
Yeah.
a dog eat dog world where we're all writing, deleting, changing. You could see it in live time, all the
Yeah.
people choosing their different things.
Yes, yes. And Sherelle was so nice about it. I was like, I think I want to do Frozen. And she was like,
Well, because so I had wrote Snow Queen, and then I was like, oh, I said, isn't that kind of like close to the same thing? I was like,
it
I don't know,
is.
maybe it's different. I was like, if we just talk and it'd be different. And Ty was like, no, 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 it's fine. And I think you were busy doing something. So every time she put something, someone else had already put it. And I'm watching. I was like, I don't even want to reach out. I feel so bad.
Yes, every time she'd be like, I said Cinderella.
Well,
Every time you were so
True
sweet
story.
about it, though. You
True
were like,
story.
Cinderella, I think Elle was trying to do Cinderella too. Kimmy got Cinderella, but it was like multiple people were choosing, the same
No,
one.
remember it was Rumpelstiltskin,
Oh, it
and
was
then somebody
Rumpelstiltskin.
Oh
picked it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that was one. All right. So now, when you guys decided that this was going to be a reimaging of the classic fairy tales, like, did you all pick your favorite, or how was it when you picked? Was it your favorite, or did you pick it because you knew you had a character that would fit the description of what you were trying to do?
I think I just picked it because it was different. Um, and I had an idea when I first picked it, but Sherelle knows this. After I picked it, I wanted Rumpelstiltskin, but then it was taken. And then I had a hard time coming up with a storyline, but then then it started to click. So I just rolled with it.
Yeah. All right. Now, Cassie, I noticed too with your story. Let me just make sure I get it right. I got them all down because I didn't want to mess up anybody's name. So you have Xander's tale, but now what was you didn't really I couldn't figure out what yours was. What I almost thought it was the Prince and the Pauper,
It was
but
the Princess and the Pea.
Prince and the P. Okay, all right. So I was like, okay, I knew it was a Prince and the something, but I was like, oh, is it the Prince and the Pauper? Okay, so when you chose your character, was this like this was your favorite fairy tale, or was this what was left on the list?
No, so this one wasn't really on the list, and
Okay.
I was torn between two. And one of the ones I was going to do, I think it was the 12 Dancing Princesses or whatever. And so I was going to do that, and I was thinking of the kink and the strip club and her with all these men. But then I said, okay, that story's going to go on and on and on because my head will never stop on that. So I went to the Princess and the Pea because that actually is one of my favorite fairy tales from childhood. And even to this day, I still compare myself to that. Like if I sleep on a certain bed at an Airbnb or hotel, I can tell if it's good or not.
Oh yeah.
That's a me mind thing. So yeah, I decided to go with that one, and I had a lot of fun with it. Flipping it around, being from a male's perspective.
Mm-hmm. Well, and what I like about, again, I had noticed after I had read a few of the books, I noticed that the trend is that the guy was the one who was actually leading the fairy tale, and so then I started to really get into it because with your two characters, they were very, very strong-willed, characters, and they were they were royalty in their own right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, oh no, it's no way he's going to go with this. But then when he made that comment to his assistant in there, I was just like, okay. And then you came out with that. And I was like, okay, I can see this happening. Okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of times we see BDSM and it's usually the woman that's the submissive, but I like to have
Yeah.
fun making her the dame. And I've done that before. So it was like, I haven't done that in a while. Let's make her the dame and make him the submissive, especially with him having such a strong personality. Being outside of him being royalty, he's, CEO of this multi-billion dollar organization, and just to take someone like that and to be able to say, I'm going to humble myself enough to take someone else's lead at this time. And I felt like that was a perfect opportunity because he was more or less like, I'm overwhelmed. All of this is going on. I just need somebody else to take charge and, let me take a step back. So it was the perfect way to introduce him into that world.
Okay. And what were the key ingredients that you felt you needed to know for him to sort of almost mirror the fairy tale itself?
So he had to brave the storm like the princess did. He had to prove that he was actually royalty, in that him sleeping on all of the mattresses, the 20 eider down mattresses and the quilts and all of that, and still saying after that night, I've had a rough night. So it was, the sleeping rest and the storm. And I added a little more in that, not only proving that he's a prince, but that he's able to be a submissive with the kneeling on the bed of rice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You had some things in there. But anyway, so if what would be Xander's drink?
Macallan.
Okay.
Being that rich, like he is, the chocolate notes, and then the spice of it all. So that would be his.
Okay. All right. So,
Man, you were also, when we all got on the conference call to try to figure out and make sure we weren't overlapping, when Cassie went to say hers with the kink, the BDSM, we were like, "Oh, you're good." I think
Yeah.
we're
not
gonna
gonna
let
overlap.
you.
I'm yeah.
Fairy tale from the beginning. It wasn't like
Now,
Back to Mama's fairy tale.
but Cassie, I do want to ask though too, what was the conversation like for you to be a part of this collaboration? With the girls.
So Sherelle reached out to me, and I was humbled, excited, nervous, just all of that, because I've always seen all of them working together.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually find out about it by Ty, because we're always chit-chatting about something. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm doing this, or this is going on, and this is going on. So when Sherelle reached out to me, I was honestly over the moon. And she was like, okay, now I know you're right interracial, but you realize these are Black folks. So I was like, I got you, no problem. So it was an honor. It was an absolute honor and privilege to be able to write with them and to do this, and just so excited. Yeah.
And another thing that I noticed that you all did well too, and I think, and I hope readers will, and I think readers will enjoy this, especially because you guys are our favorites. And so typically these fairy tales are usually not us, right?
Yeah.
And just recently we've gotten made some headway into the fairy tales, but it wasn't easy. And so for you guys to, because words are powerful, and because you all have taken these classics that we've always read, and it wasn't us on the covers, and you all have done them. So that I think that was amazing to do. And I just want to ask if that was is that one of the main ingredients that it had to be? I'm hearing that it probably was based on what Cassie just said. So that was like when you all wrote the bylaws for this collaboration, that was on the list of things that had to be, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Okay. And did you think what did you okay, as you guys were doing this, and I know you all, whenever you write, you always wondering like, okay, what is the people going to think about it, and and all of that. So what was it like as you were writing your stories individually? And this is for all of you all, and anyone can answer first. What was it like? What was your thought process as you was writing this? Like, how did you think it was going to be received?
I
I didn't
overthought
know.
it.
I didn't know how it was gonna be for me. I did.
I overthought
I,
it. Like I was like,
same.
I can't do it. I can't do. But Albert, I told you like we had a conversation about chores, and I was like, I don't know why you overthinking this. Like this is it. Like, but for me, I
Oh,
went
me?
through. Yeah, I went through 2, 3 different like ideas, and it got
Mhm.
to a point where my sister was like, "Chill, just relax. Like you're doing
Mm.
too much." And I was like, "Don't I always like every time the babes come along? Don't I always?" And she's like, "Yeah, okay," but it took a lot. Like it was supposed to be an accidental pregnancy at one point. Something about a restaurant, like it was some shoes, maybe. Yeah, it was a mess.
Oh, I think yours turned out pretty. I think they all turned out pretty good, but I just don't know. I know I hear a lot of authors when they're writing their process. You know, when you running this stuff through your head, you don't know how it's going to be received, and so something like this that's so unique. You know, I just the thought process was, what were you feeling when you were writing these stories? Yeah.
I mean, I love the concept. I don't even know why Princess and the Frog never even occurred to me because it took place in New Orleans and it is my favorite. It really is. So
Oh,
I guess I was just caught up in, I don't really think of that as a Disney, I guess. So I was thinking like Disney, like, even though it is Disney, but that's what made me, when everybody kept telling me no about every other fairy tale, I was like, oh my God, what is my favorite? It was Princess and the Frog. And so it was like, and I always make a point to say he is never a frog. Franklin is never a frog in
oh,
his
oh, Frank
story.
was not.
Because I think that was the for me, and because it took place in New Orleans, it dealt with that. It was actually for me, once I decided that, it became simple to write, just because it was my favorite. I just wanted to make sure I capture certain things that if someone read it, they'd be like, oh, that's kind of like, you get some sense of Princess and the Frog.
Mhm.
Okay, what were the
I think
ingredients?
for
Let me just ask, just since she stopped there, what was your ingredients? What were your key ingredients that you had to have for Prince and the Frog for your character?
I had to make Franklin like a hardworking man who just had no time to really date. Had to be beignets because that is what in the original story, Princess Tiana was very good at making beignets. So of course, beignets was in the story. Had to have an element of darkness for Celia. I used some of the names, use some of the character names and use some of their characteristics to to describe some of the characters. But most, and then the first time they did it was in the swamps, in the bayou, because everything goes down in the bayou. So it was kind of like making sure, just if you and they're on a journey to have this party. And so I tried to make those elements come together because that is how Prince and the Frog, they're on a journey to get their dreams come true.
Right.
In this story, she wants to own the hotel that she gave to her brother. So she's like the princess, and she's a musician, but she's just a playgirl. Like ever since the father died, she's just been playing around. Now she wants to come back in and try to own the hotel. And then you got Franklin, who's a hardworking man, whose goal is to have a bakery within the hotel that he's been working for all these years. So, and they both, in order to get their dreams to come true, they must plan the biggest masquerade party in New Orleans for Halloween.
Yeah, yeah. I did enjoy their journey, and I loved Franklin for sure. I loved Franklin. Yeah. All
Yes.
right. Elle, what about you? Do you still I still have you?
I was
I'm
gonna,
here.
but I saw
I'm here.
you had shared Tony's comment too, where she said,
Yeah.
you had just shared, and she said, "Why destroy the classic fairy tales I grew up with?" I don't feel like we destroyed them. I feel like we just reinvented them and made them black because those,
Yeah.
back then, I mean, we all love fairy tales, but it wasn't too many that were written for us. So we were definitely taking our take on making them modern and making them black and just enhancing them a little by giving it our bay flavor. So,
But I think that's where that the words retelling and reimage is,
right.
and we have to be
Yeah.
careful because, like I said, I slipped up a little bit in saying the retelling, and but it's not a retelling. It really is a reimaging. Basically, what you guys did is take the the concept of what they were and just basically redress them on different characters. kind of sort, and then put your own spin on it because they're not totally alike. And that's why I'm asking the question of what were the key ingredients to make your characters fit the bill of that particular fairy tale. Yeah, so it truly is very different. And Sherelle, we're going to get to yours because yours was very, very different. I mean, you really did make your fairy tale fit your characters. But we'll come back to you. But Elle, you were saying about your storyline, which is Riddick's Tale, by the way, guys.
I think it was hard for me because Little Red Riding Hood is not a movie, or it's like a little tale that that I just read in school one day, and it's about a little girl. So it's like this little girl like I gotta change it to a full-blown black man. So so it was like, I think that's what made it hard, but it was also a challenge because then, once I figured out who Reddick was, I was able to figure out like the grandmother aspect, because all I kept thinking was like, what, it was one of those fairy tales you memorize in elementary school. Like you just know the little bits and pieces of it, like what big eyes you have, the better to see you with, like stuff like that. So I just felt like I had to like have like little bits of that in a modern age. Like for Reddick being Little Red Riding Hood, his name, first of all, Reddick. The setting, the vineyard by the woods, and then like his grandmother, who was a big part of his life, like the person who raised him. So that was part of it. And the wolf, the wolf is many things in that story. And so I just had to kind of pull them all together, because I had a hard time with it because I kept thinking of this little girl with a red hood, and I just made him have a red hoodie. So, like it was just, just things like that I had to grow Little Red Riding Hood up into a man, and come up with a storyline that kind of fit in with modern day times and where he was at in his life.
And then you had the wolf. The wolf was always in that story, was somebody that was trying to overcome them. And so he had you had that thing. But what was funny with yours was those grandmothers was the funniest thing in that story. But we didn't expect for them to be the wolves.
I've been writing a lot of funny grandmas lately.
So we love them
I
outspoken
had a hard
grandmothers.
time. That was the easiest part of the book. I mean, I'm not giving away spoilers, but his granny is in a precarious situation, so she's not really in the book a lot, but she has a best friend that kind of takes over for her. So yeah, like we're grannies, grannies with agendas, and grannies who take no stuff. I think we all. I know I had two of them.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
So Sherelle, okay. So everybody knows what you write in your books, right? And so here we come with Snowden. Is Snowden's Tale is, by the way, is the title of Sherelle's book. And it is the reimaging of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Okay. So I'm just going to say that. I'm going to leave that right there, and I'm going to let you explain that whole thing.
Well, so for me, Snowden actually already existed in another book. So he was introduced, I think, about 3 years ago in Make Me Confess. So he was just like didn't really have too much of a speaking part. But I decided to write, like, yes, it was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but that's why it also kind of combined the Snow Queen, because his ex, who's also the love interest in the story, the heroine, she's kind of inspired by the Snow Queen. So she's icy, she's spicy. And for him, I wanted to make him like a grumpy mountain man, not like, he doesn't sing and dance and he's not happy. Like Cheryl mentioned hers was cinnamon roll. That's not Snowden. You know, he's complete opposite of that. And then I love writing a group of friends. So of course I had to write all seven of his friends. And since my book is still stated in the organized crime world and it's still in my world, that's where all of them, that's his team. And so I have them all working in organized crime, and they're out to get a target in the mountains. So it is very much in my world, but also just had those elements of the opposite of Snow White, I guess.
Yes, very much the
Snow
opposite. That's
Queen
bias.
than anything. Yeah, more Snow Queen than anything.
Yes.
But what's cute about this, guys, and if you haven't read this, please do read this. And I would be curious to find out what you think, because the characters, the friends, the seven dwarves in this book, the re-image of them, and you got to figure, like, she writes the crime family, but to have them have some of those characteristics of our classic fairy tale was kind of funny. And so what was it like writing that? I mean, you had to have all the names of the friends in
It
there.
took forever to come up with all the names. First off, I had to look because, and I will admit, I had a character named Snowden, so I was like, oh, it makes sense for me to do Snow White and Snow Queen. But those were not fairy tales I really grew up watching. It wasn't, for me, it wasn't like my favorite. So I was like, oh man, I have to look at this to even know what I'm doing. And looking at it almost messed me up. I felt like Kimmy, where now I'm like, oh God, now I want to take this several different directions because, like, why is he so grumpy? And that's nothing like the fairy tale that I'm looking at on TV. So I just kind of had to let my creative brain do its own thing and not pay as much attention to that part. But I wanted the friends to at least be based off, like, bashful to be shy, and like, I wanted the one who has allergies for sneezy, and so I did that stuff.
Right.
You gave them the characteristics.
Yeah,
Yeah, so the characteristics. So
yeah.
okay. All right. So I think you kind of told us too kind of what but if you have any, if you can elaborate on what were the characteristics for that you had to have the ingredients for to make this the Snow White.
I wanted to write if Snow White was a badass male, black and big, because he is a big teddy bear. So I literally I wanted to write a burly mountain man, and that's because he was already described in there. So the characteristics I did take, from it, the loyalty she feels, the betrayal from for her it was a stepmother, and for him it was a stepfather. So I did take those elements and put it in there. Um, it's just like revenge, for her. The mirror plays a big part. I have mirrors throughout the entire story. He even owns a mirror and construction business. So it's kind of like what he does, what he's good at, besides organized crime, that's his day job. So I have mirrors being super important, but instead of it being something that like brings them apart, I guess, in the fairy tale, in mine, it brings them together. So
Yes.
Well,
Oh, can I? Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I just want to say something to Miss Tony. I just want to reiterate that every book that anybody writes is somebody's retelling. There's only so many ways we can tell any story. Like, we all have had all these tropes. It doesn't matter what fairy tale author just wrote. And so I just look at it like, no matter what we write, somebody else has written it before, but we're writing it a little different than what it was written before. So I would suggest you just give it a chance. It's not like we're destroying it. It's just us telling another, best friend's wife, or whatever trope that we have, the fake baby trope or whatever. There's a reason why they call tropes, is because everybody writes them, but we write them in a different way. So so I just want to throw it out there, Miss Tone. No matter how old you are, no matter you're a baby boomer, near an 80, no matter what story you've read, somebody's written it before in a different way.
Yeah.
Can I add on to that? This was a conversation that happened on Twitter like a year or so ago, and I mentioned it to Sherelle and Leslie. There was like an incident where people were like, it's not right that authors are changing up stories, fairy tales and stuff to making them whatever they are. The thing that I realize is that a lot of Caucasian authors do this all the time, and there's no big fuss about it. However, when it seems like Black authors do it, that's when people want to question. And Mama Tony, I'm not saying that you are doing this at all. It's just that this was a conversation, and your question reminded me of that incident. Um, but we all have to understand that most of the stories that we took from did not start off as the cute Disney stories. They were darker. And we just kind of made it our own thing. Disney made it its own thing. So if we are going by how these stories truly started and how they are perceived now, and then what we made it, there is so many different variations that will have people sitting there like, well, damn,
Yeah.
clutched pearls. Like, so I don't think that we destroyed it. I think that what we did was, like Sherelle said, we reimagined it to include people who look like us, because we don't get that a lot. Like, you will always see that there are Caucasian uh, dark fairy telling retellings, or even contemporary romance retellings, but you don't see a lot of black on black, and I mean black on black. You'll see interracial, but you will not see a lot of black retellings. And that's just what we did. Like Ty said, I would suggest just reading them. And if it's not your cup of tea, then we're
Respect
sorry.
it.
We respect it. We respect you. We all love you. We respect it. Um, but I think that it's a little unfair to say, like, why destroy something compared to being like, what made you all want to do this, and not truly knowing the the why behind it. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
And I will also add that Disney is dark.
It is. It really
Disney is
is.
dark
It really
too.
is.
So
It
yeah.
is. It really
Yeah.
A
is.
lot of them are.
Everybody lost somebody in every
Hmm.
single story. Somebody
And there's
died in the
always an
story.
evil witch or somebody that's
Always.
coming to get them, and there's a
Always.
villain.
Always.
So you know what? Because these were, you know, fairy tales that was classic and usually read by children. Um, what was your thought process about, because now it's adult, it's good, you've taken it and you've written it in adult, and then that's one way of separating it too, because they are not, it's not like you guys have like Snow White or the Little Mermaid or the, you know, the prince and the um I want to say the Prince and the Pauper because that's what I keep thinking. Prince and the Pea.
Yes.
So it's not like you have that on there. So when you decided to do this, did you think it was going to be some pushback because, you know, these were classics for children and now they're an adult form of it?
One thing
I
is,
can
none of
honest
us write for kids though. Like,
eh,
none of us write kids stories.
Right. No, I know,
I
but
No,
I
I'm
can
not saying that
honest
to you in general. Like, if you see Kimmy Farrell, you know that Kimmy Farrell is not writing a story for a kid to pick up. And so I don't understand. Like, I we didn't think, at least I wasn't thinking about nobody's child.
Mm-mm.
I'm pretty sure y'all not
I
thinking
think
about.
from I think from the planning standpoint, and Sherelle, you could back me up on this if you. I don't think it occurred to us that these were kids' stories. I think what we were trying to do is trying to make it an adult story, a romance, because we all write romance and we all write spicy. There's nobody on this anthology that does not write spicy. Um, and so and it's being done. It's been done. It's something that's been happening in romance for years. So I don't think it was part of our thought process about the kids aspect of the fairy tale. The only time I thought of a kid was because my original story was a kid. Like, so
Hmm.
that was the only time I thought of it. But Sherelle, I don't know if you have
No,
something
I
to
didn't.
add to it.
I
Yeah.
agree 1000%. I never thought about that aspect at all. I even have a book that I came out with in 2019. It was Single AF, and like my character in there, she takes nursery rhymes and she makes
Yeah.
them ratchet, and she, it's like
Mhm.
starlight, star bright, first D I see tonight. Like it's, and I got no pushback from that, from in there. So it's really, and this doesn't just go to us, this goes to any of the other Black authors too who are writing the retellings or reimagines that may come in the future or anything like that. I'm like, we write based off the inspiration or doing something different and wanting to collaborate together. So it's always wanted to show an outlet of that Black love, and that's why we always do the bays. So I think that anything of the negativity around the fact that it's being fairy tale was not something that I even thought would happen. If anything, I thought that people would want to see a
Me too.
different kind
And
of
I want
view.
to jump on. I want to jump on what Sherelle said because I had that same thought process too. I never thought about the child aspect of it.
Mm-mm.
I looked at it as this is inspiration because every story that we write, we find something that inspires that writing, whether we're watching a movie or something happened in somebody's life or we heard a song on the radio. It comes from some inspiration. And so this was nothing more than that, just inspiration for a different story. That's it.
But we also didn't say they were fairy tales. We said they're not your average fairy tales.
Yeah.
So I never assumed like, and maybe this is just me again, but when that little tagline, or can we call it a tagline? Like it's a tagline.
Yeah, it
But
is a
when that
tagline.
was said, like, is it like that's the tail? Okay,
Yeah, it was
we'll
a
just.
tagline.
But when I was told not your average fairy tale, I was like, bet this is nothing like what a child would read. And again, that was one of the pushbacks from the other like stuff that happened as far as the fairy tales. People was like, well, what if a child see it? Well, first and foremost, I'm pretty sure everybody put that 18 plus on because I know I put that 18 plus on. They're categorized in categories where it's more mature. Um, y'all might hear my nephew in the background, but it's just I
I,
don't think that anybody's child was planning to
And
read
when
this.
Kimmy told us about the Twitter thing, I didn't even know anything. I didn't even know it was discourse on this
I didn't
in
know it
You
either.
know, I'm
at
always
all.
on
I was
Twitter.
like, what? What?
But
Thank you.
can I just say, as romance readers, I think when we read romance, we sign on for a fairy tale. I mean, if we think
Mhm.
about a fairy tale in its essence, a fairy tale is a story about a princess who finds her prince and they live happily ever after. The bulk of the fairy tales. And so I think that's what romance is. That's what the romance genre is. There's a meet cute, there's a black moment, and there's a happily ever after. And that's the same thing as a fairy tale. Like, and I think it's like it's just a new way to think of it. Like, I think we could kind of categorize all of our books as fairy tales just in a different way.
Mhm.
Um, because that's what a fairy that's just the
Yeah.
component of the fairy tale. Hero saves, or heroine meets hero, hero saves heroine, or vice versa, and then they live happily ever after. And then some wicked person comes, or some misunderstanding comes along, and they have to work through it together. Like, I could take my favorite fairy tale, Cinderella, and there was this girl, she had shitty, I'm sorry for the language, she had shitty stepmother
Yeah.
and shitty stepsisters, and they treated her like crap. And then the prince came with a shoe and he put it on her and he took her away. Like, like that's the fairy tale. So it's like and I could say in the book, in every book that I've written, there's some shitty people in there, and then they meet
Oh
each
God,
other, and
yes.
then they live happily ever after. Like, yeah, I don't know. I just think I when I write romance, I think of that once upon a time,
Yep. Me, I was gonna say that.
and so like once upon a time there was a girl named da 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 da, and she met da 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 da, and then they live happily ever after. So I think that's what we do. That's why we do what we do, for the happily ever after.
Uh,
Mhm.
yeah.
Sorry, didn't mean to go off on a tangent and cut
No,
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 people
no, that
off.
makes
no.
sense. No,
Uh,
I think you're right. I think you're
yeah.
absolutely right. That's what
And
makes
I
it
mean,
romance versus fiction.
right.
Women's fiction.
True.
And it's good that we're talking this out so people, people can see because, because they can hear it right from you guys and then they don't have to go away and, be on Twitter or some other social media platform and then, chatting amongst themselves without having the real deal there.
Mhm.
So I did not think it was, I didn't think it was so closely related to the classic that you could be confused with it though. I thought it was unique storytelling and I enjoyed them. But that's just me. So, Elle, before you, I see you popping in and out, and some of the people want to know what these favorite drinks are. And I was going to get to that, but I want to get some of the meat out first. So,
I'm
Reddick,
sorry.
what would Reddick's favorite drink be?
So Reddick is a wine maker,
Yes.
and so I think he would go with a Cabernet.
All right, all right. I like that. Now, do you have to pop off? Because I know you got a family function there. Because if you do have to drop off, we can just we can you can just tell us like where to find you, what's next, all of that good stuff.
Yes, I do actually.
Okay. Yeah,
they're
yeah,
they're they're waving at me from the door.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
Not the door.
sorry, first of all, I just want to thank you, Midnight, for always supporting the base. You have been a staunch supporter of us since we started doing this, and I really appreciate that. I know that you just always are there, and I appreciate it. Unfortunately, it's just this time of today and everything that a lot of us couldn't come on here, but I
yeah.
know that every one of us wanted to be here. And before I talk about myself, I do have to shout out the other authors who are not able to be here in
Mhm.
their fairy tales. So Angela Seals, Eric's tale, uh, her fairy tale was Little Mermaid. Kelsey Green, Belair's tale was Beauty and the Beast.
Mhm.
Aja's Lennox's tale, and it was Goldilocks and the Three Bears. And AC was Raphael's tale, and it was Tangled, or what is it?
Rapunzel.
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 Yeah.
Rapunzel. Yeah, yeah, Rapunzel. So
Tangle Rapunzel.
um
Yeah.
all of these ladies make what me and Sherelle do worth it. Um and so we thank y'all for rocking with us all these years when we were doing these collaborations, because it is a lot of work and we put a
Yeah.
lot of work into it, a lot of time, um and just a lot of brain power when we do have our own brands that we could be working on, but we just think it's important that we collaborate with like-minded authors who write Black romance or write Black characters and just love on Black love. And we thought it was important from the first Bay, New Year Bay, to now, and we will continue to think that's important. As far as where to find me, www.lwright.com, on Instagram at IG, L the letter right author. And what's next is the X Dilemma in January 2026 with Kensington Books, and another meddling granny. So I can't remember what other question you asked, but yeah.
No, just that. Yeah, just to let you know. Oh, and no, your drink. What? Oh, you said wine. You said
She said
Cabernet. Okay.
wine.
Cabernet.
Everywhere. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys too for everything that you all do because it's not easy to come before us and I say that all the time. Us readers could be we could be a mess
Yeah.
sometimes, so we appreciate you for rocking with us and anytime. It's always my pleasure to have you on and we'll talk soon. All right, enjoy
Thank
your
you.
family. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. So Sherelle, let me ask what Snowden's drink would be if he
I
had a
had,
favorite.
I had all this time. I should have had
Yes,
that.
you could have.
Um, I'm gonna go with bourbon. Oh,
That
old fashioned. I'm gonna go with
okay.
the.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that.
I know. I mean, like, sorry, spoiler alert. That's my favorite, and I can't think of anything past that. I feel like he's a
It
bourbon
makes
guy. So,
sense.
yeah,
So,
right. So yes, that would be his drink.
all right, Kimmy, what would your character's favorite drink be?
I'm gonna say a Jack and Pepsi, not Coke. A Jack and Pepsi.
Okay.
Um, and it has to be Pepsi because I'm a Pepsi girl.
Oh,
So, um, and I would say that because depending on how much Pepsi you put in it, it's a little sweet.
mm.
So Ash can be a little sweet at times, or he can be straight to the forward and a little
Oh, yeah,
strong.
he can. Yes,
So I'm
yeah.
gonna say a Jack and Pepsi.
Okay. All right. Now I'm tired because Miss Ola didn't ask
Yeah,
me.
she asked me that long. Yeah, she asked.
Right. So I'm sorry, Ola. I was gonna get to it, but and then look, and I made our way to you last. But anyway, so what would your character's favorite drink?
He's like, drive a truck. So for him, it's like a beer or gin and juice. Like he just, he is not this refined man. He's really a hardworking man with, everything he builds by hand and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, your character's kind of pulled your well Franklin, he kind of pulled at the heartstrings a little bit there.
Oh,
Yeah, he was good. So guys, there was a question out here which is also on my list to say is the book covers.
yeah,
Who did those book covers?
it was good.
And yeah, those were really, really nice. I loved all the colors. Yours was very, very vibrant, Ty. I mean, you could tell right away where you were going with your book. Yeah. That's why I love those curtains. And I love the deep reds. I love the blues. All of, there
They
were
were
just
all
great
so pretty.
colors with them. Yeah. So who's the mastermind behind these covers?
it was she's graphics by Stacy, so she took them and ran with it.
Okay.
Um, we kind of let her do her thing. She knew my fairy tales, and when she did mine, I was like, oh, I have to lean into the mountain part now because this is like a winter wonderland.
Right,
So
Yes,
right, right.
yes, so
Yeah.
mhm.
pretty. No,
Um,
she killed it because I just said she said I was like New Orleans hotel French
yeah.
Quarter.
Yeah,
She and that's what she brought back to me. And I was like, that's like
she also
yes,
loves
she did
doing
good.
fairy
She
tale
did
covers,
good.
so it's like her thing that she loves doing. So yeah, she did
She
great.
definitely made sure to like personalize these
Yeah.
covers because
Mhm.
with mine, I don't even think people can see it, but up in the corner, like there is, well, on the very in the middle, that W for the Washington Hotel, I made that. That's the
Okay.
Oh
stationery that
wow,
I
I
made
didn't know
for,
that.
yeah.
nice.
So, and Midnight, if you for Phantom Affair, that's the stationery that she
Mm-hmm.
wrote her letter on. So when I
Mhm.
mentioned that, she added that, and then I said that Ash left a personalized letter in the corner by the panties is a letter that actually says what he wrote on that letter to Charmin in the book.
That's
So
beautiful.
and the stationery has like the DC skyline in it. She really, really
Yeah.
personalized the covers, like, and I was shocked.
And she worked on them for months too. So
Yes.
she put a
Yeah.
lot of time into it.
They are all beautiful, and I can kind of tell a little bit from what they was. I couldn't tell from Lennox Tale, which is Aja's book, until I read it, and then I knew what that was about.
Mhm.
And then Milo's, I wasn't sure, but I was kind of on point with what Cheryl was doing with this because Cheryl, this is not the first time she's putting something like chemistry things in there. So I had to ask her, like, is that like, something she just kind of leans on? But I knew Kimmy with you, I saw this W and I was not surprised when it had some phantom elements in there. And then, of course, I knew where I was going with you with that. And I kind of knew, too, with you, Cassie, with these reds that are in here is so gorgeous. I wasn't sure of, I knew kind of what theme you were going with, but you kind of gave me a little bit of twist on that. So that was cool. And then I kind of liked what they did with ACs because the Rapunzel was the hair, and then the guy had the locks. So yeah, and then with Chelsea, what did I say, Kelsey, Lord, Kelsey, with hers was just that whole like just love story with her. This is what I got from reading with from looking at hers. And then with with Els though, I didn't know. I didn't think wine. I wasn't sure really what that was. It kind of thought I thought, okay, is she going dark too? Because like this chamber here, I wasn't sure where we were going with her. But I do love the covers though. So shout out to her for doing a great job on these covers. She did an amazing job. So yeah, so now Mama Tony is starting out with that. So yay, Mama Tony! Please let us know how you're liking them. Yeah, and if you want to come back and talk, hey, I'm with it. Because I don't know if everybody Jack and Pepsi.
She like she like not that combo. She like not that.
So anyway, so guys, I know it's we kind of over our time. And I really do appreciate you guys. So we're gonna go around and everybody tell us, where we can find you, and tell us if you have any projects that's coming up next. You want to that whatever you can tell us about the project that's coming up next. Let me just say one thing, Cassie. It has been so long overdue. I am so happy to have you at the book bar, and I have to have you back again because I was supposed to have you on like a while ago, you and Ty a while ago, and I missed the opportunity, but I am so happy to have you here, and I hope this won't be your last time coming back. So tell us a little bit how we can find you, and if you can tell us what's happening next.
First, let me say it's an honor to be here. So thank you so much for that. And I know when you first wanted us on here at that time, I wasn't showing my face. So that was why we couldn't come way back then because I had the two different pen names and everything. But I'm here.
Okay.
And thank you for having me. And then I want to say thank you, ladies, for having me because it really has been a pleasure to be a part of this. And thank you so much, Sherelle. You have been so gracious and so patient through this entire process. You two ladies do a phenomenal job with your life going on, even through the challenging and rough times. Y'all are still here for us. And I just really want to say hats off to y'all, and I appreciate it. And God bless you because your souls are so beautiful.
You're making me too emotional for this conversation.
Y'all deserve to be loved on because you are amazing. The entire group is amazing, but you two are phenomenal leaders, and I just have to say that.
Yeah.
I can be found at Arthur Cassie Verano on Instagram, Facebook, and Patreon, and my website is also arthurcassieverano.com. And what I've got coming up next, I am dropping 4 books starting in January, 2 weeks apart. And they're all from the Insatiable Heart series. And so they will be, for my Patreon people, they will be stories that they have read. Some of them have read. But there's going to be more content to them. And so it's going to be organized crime, the whole kink element going on. It's interracial romance. It's a band of brothers. They are not brothers by birth, but brothers by nature and growing up together and what they've gone through. So super excited about that, and that's coming in January.
I just want to say real quick, Mama Tony wrote a New York Christmas book. Let her know the title.
Say that again.
Mama Tony just wrote, if you have a Christmas book, let her know the title. So she's creating a list.
Okay. Yeah. I'll drop that later on Facebook, and I'll make sure I can get her with that because I've got quite a few Christmas books, and I've got one that's coming back out, and it'll have additional content as well. And it's something that was just a part of an anthology about a year or so ago, and it's a mafia Christmas.
All right, all right. Okay. Thank you, Jasmine, for hanging out with us.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I totally agree. I totally agree. Just want to take a quick minute to thank all of you all for rocking with us. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any other content that I might have at a later date. Thank you guys so much. But now, okay, Miss Kimmy, what you got going on next? Tell us how to find you. What's coming out next?
So if you've read Ash's Tale, then you have met um, the hero of my next story. His
All right.
name is King. He had a very small part in Ash's Tale, and I am writing a younger man, older woman romance. Think divorce, life after divorce. Think a gun, an accidental shooting.
Oh wow, that's too much thinking.
No, I love it.
My mind is gonna
That
go
sounds like a
way.
Sherelle book. I'm
I
like, wait a
love
minute.
I have to channel my inner Sherelle because King is not what he's supposed to be. Like King is doing a little too much for
When it
me.
She's like,
It, it was supposed to come out in June of this year.
oh, I
um,
understand that. I understand.
but hopefully it comes out before the end of the year or the top of next year.
Okay, okay, all right. I'm gonna look forward to that. Yeah, and King had a more than a little bit of small part in the book, but yeah, so that's good. I'm looking forward to seeing him again.
He's a
Um, uh,
menace.
well, yeah, but he's giving you something to go on, so that's good. All
Well,
right.
he actually was hit. King was not supposed to make an appearance. I was working on King's book simultaneously while working on Ash's book. And then I paused King book and I was like, let me just throw him in there to just throw that part in there.
Mhm.
So King was existing before Ash was actually.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Well, apparently King is a dominant because he ended up getting some FaceTime in somebody else's story. So yeah, we really want to see what's going on with him. Mm. All right, Miss Ty, where can we find you and what do you have coming up next?
TyLoveBooks.com is my website. Pretty much all my books are there. I have Zuri's Blues coming out on Tuesday. I'm
Oh,
very excited about that. It's the follow up to Chicago Blues, but you don't have to read Chicago Blues to get Zuri because it's different couple. But you will see if you did read Chicago Blues, you will see Chicago Indigo. So I'm excited about that. It comes out Tuesday. It drops Tuesday. The audiobook is going to drop out a little later, but the ebook and paperback might be a little later too, because I keep forgetting anyway, the ebook will be out on Tuesday, and I'm so excited about that book. And I hope you go out there and read it. And just because Mama Tony did ask about Christmas books, the first series I did with the Bays was the Christmas Bays, Holiday Bays. I forgot the actual name, but
Days of Christmas.
Days of Christmas. But yeah, so I had Seven Peppermint Kisses. Then I did a follow up last year, which was Cocoa Kisses. So those are my two. I got more than those, but those are the two Christmas books that are probably my fave.
And they're both really good, really, really good. Loved them.
okay. All right, Miss Sherelle.
Mm, I was trying to think about my Christmas books. I have two Dirty Santas.
You do that.
um, Grinch's Roommate, To Marry a Madden, and then something else that I'm forgetting. But yeah, those are those. I have those. But then what I have coming next, I just released a couple months ago, Corrupted Promises, which was the third book in my Maverick Dynasty series. It was my stalker, bully, unhinged romance. Um, so I have the next book for the next brother coming in that I'm working on, which I think he's a little more mellow than the one I just came out with. So that's been fun. And then I have another project I can't share, but I'm excited about. So that should be coming out next year too.
Okay.
And I think that's it.
Okay. Where is the best place to find you?
My website's www.sherellegreen.com, or I'm at Sherelle Green everywhere else.
Okay. All right. Okay. I noticed are you guys mostly on, who's mostly on Facebook and who's mostly on Instagram, TikTok, and all of that?
I'm mostly on
I'm
Instagram.
mostly on Instagram.
Instagram.
I'm everywhere. I'm like Visa.
I wish I could. I'm trying to be like Tiffany.
I still everywhere, but I probably focus more on Instagram.
I
Instagram.
think I focus more on Threads, which is sad, but yeah, I cross post. So if you see it on Instagram, you're gonna see it
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yep.
That's a good point. That's a good
All
point.
right.
I'm trying
What
to
about
be good at all of them.
Even Pinterest. So yeah.
Yeah,
Kimmy doing it.
It's
I'm
not enough hours
trying.
in a day. It's just not enough hours in a day.
What about you, Cassie? What's the best place for you?
It's the same as Kimmy. I pretty much cross post. So if I'm posting on Instagram, it's going to post on Facebook. I've been trying to be on TikTok more lately, so I think it'll kind of balance out with the other two.
Okay. Okay. And for you all that are still here, Cassie and Ty have a Cozy Sips podcast. You all want to tell us a little bit about that, where to find you guys, and where they can look at some of your older stuff, your archives?
So you can go on YouTube to Cat Cozy Sips and find us, and you can see all of our videos back to 2023.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, 2023, and we've had Sherelle and Kimmy on there.
Yes.
They were some of our first guests.
Crazy.
Sherelle was our very first guest.
Yeah, and she was our first anniversary guest for our very first anniversary.
Yeah.
Okay.
And definitely check out the live videos where we did shows live at the One Love reunion.
Yeah.
And we might possibly be doing it again live this year in New Orleans. Well, not this year, but 2026. And if not at the show, we'll be somewhere. Somewhere in New Orleans showing out. Those shows are a lot of fun, and we're doing a bit of restructuring for 2026, and we'll announce that later.
Okay. All right. Good enough.
For the
But guys,
live show, can they see the audience? Or no, is it just, can they see the audience for the live shows? Or were you just facing?
They were only able
you
to
can hear the reactions though. You can
And
hear
I
everyone's
only
reaction.
asked because they
I
were
know why you asked.
Yeah.
because
Why did you ask?
y'all was cutting up?
It was going down in the audience. It was just
Some people get spanked. Some people get it's a lot of stuff going on. I think
that's why I asked. I was like,
He was like, wait a minute. I'm trying to drink.
My husband got propositioned in a way last year. Well, not last. Yeah, that was last year. Ty had to kind of make love to one of our guests and moan.
And this was at One Love.
Yes,
Y'all played all the way up.
That AC, I'm not surprised. I am not surprised. But anyway, well, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me in your Friday evening. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Be safe and always be kind. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye for now.
Midnight AC.
Bye.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Midnight.
Thank you. Let me just put this up one more last time so they can see.